In the recent events that we have been having that's dominated our lives in regards to things with COVID and not having it, last year we didn't get to have this assembly. And it's too bad, because we need to make sure that we take time to remember those in our past that have stood up to make sure that they're protecting the freedoms that we have and allow you to have the lives that you have. Those people standing up and doing what they do, protecting you, whether it's the fire department, our veterans who are fighting in foreign lands, and then also protecting us here at home. Those things, we need to remember those pieces that they have done to put their lives on the line to protect us. And so we thank them for being able to be here with us today. We ask, where are our heroes? Where are our heroes? Where are those who sacrifice and put others before themselves? When things get tough, who will lay everything down to make sure you are safe, that your friends and family are safe? Those who put us before themselves. Today, those heroes are standing behind and amongst you and have joined us, knowing the sacrifices that have brought us to this 20th anniversary of that fateful day on September 11th, 2001. On this day, we want our words to have meaning. We want to help all of you understand the great sacrifice that has occurred in order to secure what we have and provide us with our freedoms that we often take for granted. We should start by being thoughtful of this and simply saying, thank you. You have taken time out of your day to memorialize the sacrifices of those who have come before you. In reality, the work you do now is the key to remembering those who have passed on and laid the path for all of us. Remembering them and their actions brings their sacrifice to life and gives us pause for what it means. To our students, the day is merely an event in history that they may have no connection to at all. For the staff, our honored guests, and their families, the events are memories of a tragic and fateful day where friends, family, and loved ones gave all they had to secure our freedom and stand up for what we believe in. It is a date in history that unified Americans across the country in standing against terror. For those who were old enough to remember this day and were there to see the events of that morning unfold, it remains as a daunting reminder to each of us that our freedom, our strength, and our very unity comes at a cost. On September 11, 2001, the lives of Americans were changed forever. This date marks history with an event that will never be forgotten. Lives were lost, heroes were forged, and our understanding as Americans of just what freedom and security costs was solidified. Our country, unified, became stronger and stood confident against terror. The desire was for this act to divide us, make us weaker, make us afraid. The attempt was a failure. Yes, the lives of Americans were changed forever with this event, but we rose stronger from it. We gather here today on the 20th anniversary of this tragedy to take a moment to reflect on the heroes who emerged that day. The events of September 11th united us as a nation and strengthened us in our resolve. We honor the lives lost and the heroes that rose up to meet the challenges after the aftermath. We stand here as a testament to their sacrifice and courage. Every student gathered here today had not even been born when these events occurred in 2001. With this in mind, it is important that we take time to remember the events of the tragic day. It was a bright September day. Innocent men, women, and children boarded planes and set off to their daily activities as they had done so many times before. They were unaware of the unthinkable acts of terrorism that would bring horror, destruction, and loss for people across our nation and the world. 19 terrorists boarded 4 planes. 2 planes struck the World Trade Center. A third crashed into the Pentagon. And a fourth was brought down by the heroic actions of the passengers and crew in Pennsylvania. On September 11th of each year, we observe Patriot Day as a remembrance of the lives lost and the selfless dedication of members of our public safety community. We also honor the families and loved ones left behind. Since this event, we have been engaged as a country to provide security to our communities and eliminate the threat of future terrorist attacks both here and abroad. We have become stronger. In observance of Patriot Day, it has been proclaimed by the Governor of the State of Ohio, by the Ohio Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, that the flags of the United States and the State of Ohio shall be flown at half-staff upon all public buildings and grounds throughout the state of Ohio. At this time, I would like to present our Greenville NJROTC to perform the flag presentation of colors and to carry out the proclamation of the Governor of the State of Ohio. In addition, the President has ordered that the U.S. flags be flown at half-staff and asked Americans to observe a moment of silence. Please join with me at this time in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to take a moment to just thank the NJROTC for coming over and presenting the colors and putting together the group to do that for us. And then also they had raised and placed the flags at half-staff on each end of the facility for us today. And we thank them and Commander Knowles for doing that. Thank you. We will now go ahead and take a moment of silence to reflect on the lives lost and the heroic efforts of all of those who have joined us today and those in the past who went to that tragic event to try to help out with those situations. Thank you. I would now like to introduce our guest speaker for today. He served in the U.S. Army as an infantryman from 2008 to 2011 and had a one-year combat tour in Iraq. Currently, and for the past 8 years, He has been serving as one of our very own police officers. Please join with me in giving him a warm welcome this morning, Lieutenant Ryan Benji.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning. Thank you to the Greenville City Schools for inviting me to be here today. It's an honor to be here as a voice for veterans and first responders as we look back on all those people we've lost over the last 20 years. On behalf of the entire Greenville Police Department, we want everyone that was affected by this tragedy to know that we are thinking of them on this 20th anniversary. We're blessed to be in a community that supports our veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Since beginning my career as a police officer here in Greenville, I've had the opportunity to respond to serious emergencies and train with most of the first responders here today. Like veterans, first responders are people who are willing to sacrifice everything for strangers. When tragedy strikes in our community, these are the people I trust with my life, and I can assure all of you here today that these are the best of the best. While none of the students here today were alive when the events of 9/11 took place, I feel it is important for me to tell you how I felt when it happened. I was in the 6th grade, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in a computer class, and my classmates and I were all huddled around a TV, watching the news as it all unraveled. It really felt like a bad dream. I was scared and confused, but mostly I was angry. I was trying to process how something like this could happen. The entire country quickly united, and we all wanted the people responsible for this attack to be dealt with quickly. The world was watching to see how the United States would respond. Just a few days after the attacks, while standing at the rubble of what was left of the Twin Towers, President George W. Bush gave a speech to a crowd of citizens and emergency personnel. The president had his arm wrapped around a firefighter, and the crowd was roaring loudly. The president shouted, "I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon." These words by the president helped keep America together and helped reassure that these attacks would not go unanswered. 7 years after 9/11, I joined the Army, and like many other veterans here today and around the country, we can say without a doubt that those responsible for this attack have heard our voices. Thousands of Americans died on 9/11, and even more were killed or injured in the wars to follow. It is my opinion that to honor all those we lost and all who sacrificed so much, we must come together as a community. Immediately following 9/11, this country was united like never before. You couldn't look in any direction without seeing an American flag. People were lifting each other up and not focusing on each other's differences. We were all united for a cause, and there was nothing that could get in our way. Fast forward 20 years ago to now, and we are back to being a divided nation on basically every topic. The enemies of our nation love nothing more than seeing us so divided. We are focusing too much on our differences, and we are forgetting that at the end of the day, we are lucky to live in the greatest country in the world. After I was asked to speak here today, I reached out to some veterans that I know so that I could get their opinion on how I could get a community to unite. These veterans I reached out to are some of the bravest people I know, and they have seen the ugliest things war has to offer. Their opinions were all sort of similar, and I'll sum it up by issuing a challenge to everyone here today, not just the students, but everyone. When we walk away from this memorial, be proud to be an American. Treat those who have different views than you with respect. Help someone when you get the chance. Make a positive influence in someone's life when you get the opportunity. These memorials are great because we all come together, we talk, and we get to look at the pretty fire trucks. But it's our actions when we leave here that truly honors those we've lost and those who've sacrificed so much. In closing, I'd like to again thank Greenville City Schools for hosting this event and inviting me to be here. I'd also like to thank the staff at the school, as you all play a very important role with the future of our country. Last but not least, I'd like to thank all the families of service members around the country who have lost loved ones as a result of this horrific event. May you know that your sacrifice did not go in vain, and I ask the Lord give you strength today, this weekend, and all days ahead. Thank you.
You know, as I was listening to him speak about those aspects and how they carry on, I think about how our country has changed, the aspects of even our licenses, the way we go through an airport, aspects of different parts of our society, programs that have been put together to help protect our country as a whole and our local society. All those aspects are there because of a single event. We responded in a way to try to make a difference in who we are and to protect our children, protect our families, protect our country. I hope as we move forward that some of the things that you hear, as he had said, that they don't stop here. I hope that you have an interest in reaching out and trying to learn more about that historical event and other events that have shaped where we are today and give us the strength that we are as a community. Thank you, Lieutenant Bendy. As we like to do each year, we also have a special presentation from the students in Mr. Ozra's classroom to our organizations who have joined us here this morning. If we could have a representative from each of the agencies please come forward for your group to be recognized. I will go ahead and read off the names of the organizations and ask that you send a representative forward to try to help. In the past, I think we've called them independently. I'm going to read through all the groups and have you go ahead and send somebody up, and then they'll make their presentation up here. The Greenville Fire Department, the Greenville Police Department, the Greenville Township Fire and Rescue, the Spirit Medical Transport, members of our Darke County Sheriff's Department, members of the American Legion, members of the local VFW, members of the Veterans Association, I'll go ahead and make those presentations up front. We could go ahead and have a round of applause for our group. Represented. thank you for making those presentations. We would also like to again say another thank you to our guest speaker, Lieutenant Ryan Benji. Commander Knowles, Petty Officer Douglas Scott, I don't know if he was able to make it with us today, and the members of the NJROTC for their service with the flag. I'd like to also take a moment to thank our student leaders who helped in setting up the flags this morning. I appreciate your assistance there. And Mr. McKibben, who helped me with the music this morning. And then last but not least, our board members who were joining us here this morning. We appreciate them coming out and spending time with us. Mrs. Stump, Mr. Liber, and Mr. Summer. To all of our heroes, past, present, and future, we would like to take this moment once again to thank you for your help in securing and maintaining our freedoms each day. I would now like to introduce our guest speaker for today. He served in the U.S. Army as an infantryman from 2008 to 2011